there, this is Paul Adams of ADAMSMADE. Just going to talk you through this little video. It's a restoration for two pieces of furniture this time, and the client wants them to match. So they've got a room, they like the teak, but also they've got a splash of red in the room, so they want to kind of bling these up a bit. As you can see, there's a little drawer unit and a bureau. They're pretty beat up, solid bits of furniture, but pretty scratched and battered, and they want to keep them, but they really want to kind of modernize and bling and see what we can do. So really just check it out. You can see the damage, the scratches. Some of the teak is in good shape on the front of the drawers, and on the front of the panel you can see there's not too bad. There's some scratches I need to sort out, which I will. But first assess sort of the damage, and you can see the drawers, half the drawers were blown, but not badly, you know, they're not damaged, they're just the rivets have come out. You can see, I mean, what we do, I always start with a good clean sugar soap or degrease of some kind, which may seem strange when you're going to sand something down, but you know, at the end of the day, it makes it much easier, because your sander gets clogged up, your sandpaper it gets all grimy. And it's just easy to see what you're dealing with anyway. The damage, I'm just fixing the bits and pieces first. So the drawer stops, half the drawer stops are missing, so I'm going to cut those new ones, glue them on, clamp them. I just glue them, I don't screw or pin them, just glue them on, clamp them tight. If it's clean, then a good wood glue will really tight. Clamp it down. I've got to make a little spacer so I know exactly the depth that they need to sit at. So I'll fix those, make sure everything works, and then we'll start sort of filling before the painting. So that's the door stops, the drawers, and then, as I say, some of the drawers, half the drawers were blown, but they weren't broken, still intact. Just the rivets are pushed out, heavy things in the drawers. So I've repaired those. In fact, I did all of the drawers, every one, whether they were blown or not. I added some strengthening to them, so they're all in good sort of shape, ready to go again. So that's the first stage. Oh, there was a bit of damage on there's like a little bead round there, so I've repaired that with some epoxy. Instead of normal filler, it needs to be stronger, so I use epoxy resin. Just get the shape back and then sand it into position. These are the bits I'm going to paint, so I don't need to move back to the wood. So as I say, the front faces are okay. It's the edges where it's been kicked and battered that are a bit of a mess. So once I've got all that fixed, then I can start sanding. I've used a combination of electric, obviously, then bringing down the grits, and then to hand sand to try and prepare the surface. When I've done that, I've then filled again. You can see around the bottom that there's a lot of damage. So I've kind of, again, they're the bits I'm going to paint. So I'm going to fill them all and try and get it ship shape and square. Brass work. I haven't shown a lot of the handle work here, but I've just stripped all the brass off. I did film cleaning it up in white vinegar and how to do that, but I've made a video before about that, so I've just sort of skipped that because it was on forever. But I'll put a link in so you can see doing that. The same with restoring the teak or the scratches. There's various techniques you can use, and again I've made a separate video of that of this unit just for the top to remove the scratches and so forth. So you can see that too. Again, I'll put links in the bottom. I'm trying not to sort of cover everything here, but you'll see the general job. Again, sand it down. You can see I've scuffed sand even the teak I'm keeping, but just get the shape back to the edges, get it nice and square. Now with this one, unusually, I'm going to paint it in a Small & Co. furniture paint, a cricket leather red, which is a good thick paint. But in this case, because I've used epoxy to repair the edges, there's a lot of repairs, I am actually undercoat priming the bits I want to paint first anyway. Twofold. One, it will adhere better, and secondly, I'm going to sand it again because it'll show up by painting an undercoat all one colour. It'll show any more blemishes and scratches and dents, so I can fix those again. So I think I'm going to speed the video up here, so I'm going to start off with a little bit undercoat. You don't want to see me painting the whole thing as a primer, so I'll just boost this with a 10 times speed so you can get the gist. And also you'll notice I keep flashing from one piece of furniture to the other. I'm on the drawer unit now, but you'll see me also switch to the bureau unit. So I'm doing them both pieces simultaneously as I go. So I'm lifting one off, one on. It's a continuation as we go. So anyway, so this is, as I say, it's a primer undercoat. Everything again, I've between each sand and each fix I do cleaning again, de-dust it. You've got to get a good adhesion. If you don't do that, the paint's not going to stick properly, so you need to keep cleaning in between. So I've not shown all that, but it's all happening here. So let's get this done. A bit of roller finish. Again, it gets it nice and smooth. All that was Sally, by the way, checking out the shed. Didn't like it, she's gone away again. Sally's a Romanian street dog rescue, by the way, so doesn't do a thing I tell her, but that's because she only speaks Romanian, so there you go. I haven't learned that myself yet, but she's lovely. Okay, so the primer should be just about finished. I'm going to let that dry and harden overnight, and then again sand it. You can see what I've done here. I've sanded it, filled, got my coat on because the next day and it's cold. But again, it just lets you see where any additional scratch. Right along the front here was quite badly scratched, so you know, get it nice and smooth, and it'll be ready for that. I won't need to prime it again. I can use the top coat straight on this because, as I say, it is a nice thick paint. But it's both of these preparing it. We're back on the desk now. And you can see unusually the flap, as battered as the rest of it was, this flap is actually quite, you know, the front drawer of this bureau is in good shape. I don't really show it here, but there's two pull-out leaves for this, which that flap leaf which sits on, which gives it a nice bit of strength, which I really like. So this colour, as I say, is a Small & Co. furniture paint. Again, I'll put a link in that. I'll put a lot of links in this one. It looks quite pink here, but or mulberry, but it does dry a darker red. It's, as I say, it's a cricket leather, it's called, which is a good description. And again, what I'll do here, I'll speed up this video so we can just get some paint on these two bits of units. The client, I have to say, was very good. She knew roughly what she wanted, but she left me to it really. So. Quite often I would do this in the other way around. I would keep I would paint the drawer fronts and the rest of it and keep the sides in the mahogany, but as I say, I did it where the damage was. So I've switched this around, kept the tops of the drawer fronts in the mahogany and painted the rest, and you'll see at the end that I'm really pleased with the results. Also done the inside as well. Not spent a lot of time showing you that, but you'll see it at the end. Get a nice smooth, very light sand in between, and there we go. So I'm going to do the inside as well, and you can still see on the mahogany there's quite a few scratches there, but they just disappear when I do the kind of little treatment, which is basically 1 part white vinegar and 3 parts olive oil, and you massage that in a few times. And the scratches just disappear. It's fantastic. And then when it's all dried, I finished it all with some teak oil, and inside the drawers as well, so it does smell good and they all look quite good. Here I'm just waxing the drawers, so make sure they fit. The runners were in good shape anyway, so everything fits back together nicely. I've lost the footage of me lacquering the unit and applying the brass again, but you'll see at the end it looks good.